Hey everyone, Arenji here. Version 0.19 of the prototype of Chaos Reborn has just been released, and there's some big changes which have completely changed how the game plays. So I'm just going to go through them quickly and think about how they might change how the game plays right now, and then we'll play a game with the new version, and you'll see how big an impact it's really going to have. So here's a list of the changes. The big change is that there's these 9 different types of headgear which give mana points to the wizards at the start of their turn or during their turn, depending on the state of the battle. And these are completely randomly given to each player, and they're very different in their power right now. So if you get one or the other, you might end up with a completely overpowered set of equipment or completely useless one. What are the interesting changes? This summon the rat pack 3 rats, which are I think attack 1 and defense 2, so they're pretty weak, but they're a 90% casting chance at the start of the game, so that's pretty cool. You get those out quickly. You can put, they can move 3, so you can put your opponent under a great deal of pressure right at the beginning, which seems to make Tanglevine really useful now, because you can block off whole areas of the map to prevent someone overwhelming you with rats, because rats can just peck away at Tanglevines forever and never get through. What other interesting stuff's been changed? If the wizard is blobbed, you can now use a magical attack on the blob to kill it. So before you couldn't use a magical attack on the blob that was pinning you down if you were a wizard, but now you can. Some changes to what you can see on the screen. We'll have a look at those when we get into the game. And there's a few animation changes to the dwarf. The Hydra now looks completely amazing, as you'll see. So here's a list of headgear you can get. At the moment you get one of these allocated completely randomly, and they're very different in their effects. So life, for each non-undead creature and wizard, you get a mana bonus at the start of the turn. So if you're playing a 4-player game, you've got 4 wizards, so you get 4 mana points every turn while there's 4 wizards in the game. So you can see that if it's a 4-player game, you're going to get loads of extra mana points for having that one, especially if everyone is casting lots of convocations of eagles or lots of rats. You could do quite well off this one. If it's only a 2-player game, though, not going to be many creatures on the board. That's not going to be a great piece of headgear to have. The death one, so for any creature or wizard killed by anyone, you get mana, so that's pretty good. If you get lots and lots of creatures out and then they all start killing each other, you're going to do quite well sitting in one corner just kind of counting your mana coins. The headgear or the Hat of Truth, for any illusion of any wizard disbelieved or killed, then you're going to get mana. Well, that depends on how many people are using illusions and how much. I don't think there's all that many illusions get used, so I can't imagine that this would be a terribly good piece of headgear. But if you do have it, then of course you can just keep casting illusions, and even when people disbelieve them, you're going to get mana points for other spells, so that might be handy for some players. Time is an interesting one. It means that every turn you get more mana than the previous turn. So on turn 1 you get 1 mana, on turn 2 you get 2 mana, up to last turn you get 20 mana, which is quite nice, but not at the start of the game when you most need it. Despair, this is interesting. If there's a failed spell by a wizard, you get the mana bonus. So this is by any wizard as well, so it's quite handy if you keep everything to neutral and everyone's finding it hard to cast spells. You're going to get a lot of mana from everyone failing to cast their spells. And it also gives you confidence to try some of the harder spells, so you go for a 20% casting chance. If it fails, you might get a nice juicy mana bonus, whereas if you burned the card, if it's your first card you burn, you might get 10 mana from that, but if it's your fifth one, you're only getting 5. So it might be worth just try to cast it, and then if it fails, you get the mana bonus. And heroism, this is a hard one. If you get given, there's body gear down here, which is 3 different types of body gear. We'll come to it in a second. But one of them is the arcane, which is weak attack and only moderate defense. If you get given that arcane body gear, you're not going to be doing a lot of attacking with your wizard. And you're not going to be fending off attacks very easily either. But if you get given this headgear of heroism, you only get mana if you make attacks by your wizard or other people attack you. So those two, really there's no synergy at all. Complete anti-synergy between those two, so you'd be screwed at the moment. Now in the eventual game you're going to be able to choose what equipment you use, but right now you're just given it. So if you're given those two, you're really stuffed. I did play a game earlier where one player was casting hundreds of eagles because they had a large amount of mana and they had a staff of flying, I think it is, that gives you convocation of eagles, and there was just a new set of 4 eagles every turn completely surrounding the other wizard, and they couldn't kill him because he had a shield and they had a very low chance to hit, but every time they attacked he got another 8 mana, so he was building up lots and lots of mana. And he had a staff of dragons as well, so if he'd managed to find any space at all, he would have been able to summon quite a lot of dragons out of that. Hope for each attack by either creature or magic that fails, where the attack strength is greater or equal to the defense strength, get the mana bonus. So the way these are going to work, of course, is the mana bonus isn't fixed. That depends on the quality of the equipment. So when we go loot hunting in realms, people will get a Hat of Hope, and it'll be a Hat of Hope with a 0.1 bonus, and a Hat of Hope with a 0.2 bonus, and a Hat of Hope with a 5 bonus, and so it very much depends on the quality of the equipment as to what mana you're going to get out of the Hat of Hope. But this is one I haven't seen yet, so I don't quite know how it's going to work, whether that's a good thing, or a good one, or a bad one. The Hat of Harmony, well, this is great at the start. When it's neutral, you get 10 mana a turn, which is like burning your first card every turn, which is brilliant. But once it deviates away from neutral, you get less and less, and I think you get half a point of mana less for every percentage point it moves away, something like that. So eventually, if it gets too lawful or too chaotic, you'll end up back down at 0 every turn. So if you've got the Hat of Harmony, you want to continually try and push it back towards neutral. But of course, if everybody else knows you've got a Hat of Harmony, they'll be wanting to push it in the other direction. So I don't know quite how that's going to work, whether everyone's going to know what everyone else has, so they can know that you're trying to make it all neutral, and therefore they're going to try and push it away from neutral, or else they're not going to know. They're just going to have to try and figure it out from what you're actually doing. And then this final one, Corruption, which to me is the most overpowered of all hats. If it goes very lawful or very chaotic, you get a big mana bonus, and this can go up quite high. This can get up to 40 points a turn. So if it's plus 80% law or plus 80% chaos, you're going to be getting 40 points of mana every single turn. So that's just insane. And if you were to combine that with a staff of dragons, you could be casting 3 dragons every single turn, which would just be, well, 3 dragons every second turn anyway, which would just be crazy. And I did have a game where it got up to chaos plus 150%, and the wizard who had a hat of corruption had up to, I think, it felt 450 mana by the end of the game. But he had a staff of growth, so the only kind of mega spell he could cast was Shadow Forest, and really you could only cast one of those because then every hex is taken up with trees, and that's about it. So he couldn't spend anything or any mana on anything, even though he had 450 of it, and it ended up being a draw, as you can imagine. So then the body gear. We have 3 types: Vigilant, Heroic and Arcane. Vigilant gives you a strong defense and a medium magic resistance. I think you start off with defense 7 with that, so you attack 1, defense 7, and magic resistance 9, I think. Heroic, strong in attack and agility, so you get, I think you start with attack 5 and your normal defense of 4. And then if you, of course, you get a sword on that, you get +9, so you're wandering around with attack 14, which makes you as strong as any of the dragons, if you dare actually do an attack. And good agility to not get engaged the enemy. The arcane gives you an attack of 1, so it's a very weak attack. Defense, I can't remember whether it's 4 or 5 or something. And a strong magic resistance. There's very strong magic resistance, but I think it's only like 10, whereas the worst one is only 8. So I don't think it makes a huge difference in magic resistance. Could be wrong. I have to have a look at that one. But I don't think the arcane is. It's for me. It feels definitely the weakest at the moment, because you don't get an attack. You get a fairly weak defense, and your strong magic resistance isn't really that strong. And it doesn't seem to boost your magic ability at all. So, not really a fan of the arcane one right now. But, these are just a prototype, so it's all going to change. So, I've got a game about to be ready. So, I'll just get that fired up, and then we can go in and see exactly what this looks like when we get to play it. Okay then. So Arenji, and this is where the change happens. You get this huge amount of information up here on the left, where we have we can tell what the staff is, the staff of neutrality. We've got body gear, armour of vigilance, so that's going to give us, this gives us a defence of 7 and the magic resistance of 9. And the Hat of Death, so we get 3 for each death of a non-illusionary creature or wizard. So we're going to want to kill lots of things, or try and encourage other people to kill lots of things. Other than that, the game is similar, so we've got Staff of Neutrality, so we want to start getting some creatures out. So I think we start with, let's not bother with a Decree. Tanglevine, well that might, I normally burn that, but it might be a bit more useful now, although not for this wizard, because she wants to have lots of things killed and not just sit in a corner and have lots of creatures sitting there doing nothing. So I think we'll just burn that one, and let's see if we can start by getting an elf out. Now, this is Tara, and what does she have? She has the Hat of Despair, so every time someone fails a spell, she's going to get 4 mana. Doesn't seem to matter what the strength of the spell is, she's just going to get 4 mana every time. And she has Arcane Robes, which for me is the worst style, so she's got 1 and 4 for attack and defense. She does have a magic resistance of 12, but so it's not 9, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, it's actually 8, 10, 12, but still, it doesn't seem like a huge advantage. I'd expect it to be a bit more extreme than that. So anyway, she doesn't want to be in hand-to-hand combat. So sword has not really got much synergy, but we'll go for get rid of the vengeance. Do you have a bow? We have a goblin. Let's just get a goblin out, so we've got some... Oh, a 90% spell failure. Well, you see it said there, someone got 4... I think it's Tara who gets 4 mana, isn't it? She has the Hat of Death. Now, Invoker, what does Invoker have? Another Hat of Death. So also, getting mana points if he fails spells. Now it doesn't seem to, because he hasn't been given any mana points. So although on this screen it said where is it? Despair. For each failed spell by any wizard, gain the mana bonus. So, oh, it's the Hat of Death. So it's the death of creatures, not... Ignore what I'm talking about. So Invoker has a Staff of Speed, so any fast creatures are going to get a bonus. We have one blob here. Blobs are kind of not quite as overpowered as they were before, because there are so many counters to it now and so many ways of getting mana to create creatures that blobs can be dealt with more easily. And also they're less strong than they were before. The defense has gone down from 3 to 2, I think, which makes quite a big difference to the ability of small creatures like rats to deal with them. So right now I think we need to burn the Vengeance. What can we go for? We're going to have plus 20 on the Manticore. That could go up to plus 30 because it's a fast creature. But we'd have to burn something else to get there. Maybe we'll just let's cast the Elf. Try and cast the Elf. There we are. And finally Lena. What's Lena got? Lena has a Armour of Vigilance, which is the good armour, which makes her very strong. Hat of Hope, mana bonus 5 for each failed attack where defence is not stronger than attack. So essentially, if you're attacking things that are weaker than you, you're going to get mana. And I can't remember if that applies to absolutely everyone. It doesn't say whether it's just you or whether it's every wizard, but I'm sure we'll find out. Here it says what we've got left in the spell deck, so we've got 12 spells remaining, but almost all of them are law according to this, so she really wants it to go lawful, and we were already at law plus 10, so Lena's quite happy with this. She also has a Staff of Shooters, which is going to favour things like elves. Look at all these law spells, and of course that remaining law count is basically the sum of all these law numbers, so 5, 5, 6, but it doesn't include the ones already visible in your hand. So she's not only got lots of law ones coming, but she's actually got lots of law ones in her hand already, so this is going to be very, very strong if she can get it to go lawful. Now none of the wizards have a Hat of Corruption, so we're not going to see that dynamic where someone gets totally overpowered, at least not in this game. Now these are all good creatures, so I'm not quite sure whether we want to just try and cast one here. Didn't work, of course, because it was only 80%. Alright, back to Arenji. Hat of Death, so this is the wizard who wants to kill everything. The elf is getting easier. And now Tara. She's getting mana from the Hat of Despair, so when spells fail she's getting points. So we have a dwarf that's up to 100%, but she's got this elf closing in, so we do need some kind of defence. Maybe it's time to try and rescue Pegasus so she can fly and hide, or maybe we just get a dwarf first. Let's get a dwarf first as protection. And just hide behind the dwarf. Now Invoker gets mana from deaths, so also a bias to law here, but we do have a zombie and a manticore which we'd quite like to get, and a gooey blob. Let's Let's try the centaur. This is only 68% chance, but maybe that was a bad move. Should have waited. Lena in the corner. Needs to get some attacking going on if she's going to get any bonus mana points. Let's get out this free dwarf. And now Arenji. There's 2 elves. Now we can get our first attack on here. Now it's already up to Law 21, not surprising given the number of law spells people seem to have. Now, RNG doesn't have a mostly law deck, she has a chaotic deck, apart from the one she's already holding, which are all mostly lawful. We've got quite a good chance of getting a magic bow, but I think we'll go for the unicorn first because that's a bit more useful. Right, so that'll be a useful defence next turn when she gets on there. Now, Tara. Amazingly lawful spells. You see how lawful everyone is? It's no wonder that the whole thing's turning in the law direction. Now we've got plus 20 on Pegasus, which is about as high as that can get. We do have a ruby dragon with a potential plus 40, which is going to be great if we can get that out. Right, let's see if we can get this Pegasus first. 96%. So that's some defence. Now Invoker. 2 zombies now. Is it worth going for those? Or do I want to burn them? Or burn one of them? All those law spells remaining. She does have chaotic ones in hand, but mostly law ones. Staff of Speed. Not an easy hand to play, this one. Let's burn one of the zombies. Got a blob. Summon Giant is the one with it now tells you what you've just burnt, what you've just drawn. So we just drew Summon Giant. Let's go for the zombie. Not having much luck over in that corner, but we can get an attack on the dwarf. Now Lena. Now this might be handy. A use of Tangle Vine. She's under pressure. She could Tangle Vine her way across here. Or she could get a unicorn and sit on that. Let's try Tangle Vine. Dun 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 dun. So that's a useful kind of line of sight block. So that's rather ruined RNG's attack with the elves. Now we've got our first Rat Pack, which is a neutral spell, 90%, which might be handy to run round the Tangle Vine and cause some grief. Or we could Justice the Tangle Vine and try and make a hole through it. Let's do that. That will really mess with this defensive line. Let's go for those 3. It's created the hole that we needed, so if we send an elf around there, we can continue pecking away. RNG gets on her unicorn, bring the elf round. Now Tara has a Pegasus to fly around on. She still has the Staff of Shooters, so we still have that potential Ruby Dragon. We have a sword we can get, we have a very high chance bow. I think we go for that bow. Now, what do we do? Do we move in to attack the... I think we... Let's just charge the elf. Okay, so Invoker still only has an elf. It's engaged the enemy. it has to attack with 20%, which didn't work. And 100% sword. Oh, we got a gooey blob. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let's go blobbing. You want to increase the chance of that working, I think. So which spell are we going to sacrifice? Well, I'm never a fan of the giant. I don't think it's worth the difficulty of casting it, because at the moment it's got such a low agility and such a low magic resistance that you can lock it down really, really easily, and it's actually not strong. In the original Chaos, this was attack 9 and defense 7, and it was as strong as anything else in the game. But I think it's going to have more powers later. It's going to be able to throw rocks, and it's going to be able to climb up 2 levels of hills in one go. So it's going to have extra skills. But right now, it's not a great spell to have, so I'm just going to burn that one. That gives us an 85% on the gooey blob, so I'm going to put the gooey blob right on Tara to cause her a lot of problems, and then I'm just going to retreat slightly with the elf. End the turn. Lena, the dwarf's still out of range. We can now pretty much sure get a unicorn. I think that's probably the best thing. 94 chance. What could possibly go wrong? And indeed nothing. And now Arenji can keep falling back and pecking at the poor dwarf. You see, people get mana points. Arenji and Invoker have both got hats of death, so they get mana points every time something dies. It's now a good. Let's move forward to here, and then summon lots of rats. 1, 2, 3. So aren't they sweet? Attack 1, defense 2, magic resistance 1. So they're not going to last very long, but they can be a real pain. And here we go. Tara has been blobbed. Let's see if the dwarf can get them out. You see the hammer goes flying back to the dwarf now, which is cute. Now we need to get out of this blob. So what's the best way of doing that? We have a sword. I think the sword probably is the easiest way of getting out. We could go for an elephant, but let's go for the sword first. Now, Tara has a sword, which means she can get off the blobbed Pegasus, and then free the Pegasus. And then the Pegasus can... Well, we can attack Invoker for 20. Well, it's a 1 in 5. You can never say no to a chance to attack an enemy wizard, even if it is fairly low. Now, I guess something else for Invoker to worry about, but Invoker can cast a 100% magic sword. Ooh. Lena gains 5 mana points because that should have been a kill, and didn't manage to kill. So we'll send the elf back to try and take out this. Well, that's a bit of a problem. Lena on her unicorn. She doesn't have a blob, so she can't run down here in a kamikaze blob attack. She does have 2 very tempting centaurs. The sapphire dragon is rising up rapidly, so I think we carry on persisting in the law direction for Lena. Slightly move in this direction. Watching out for that dwarf though. Now Arenji also has a bow and a sword to get both 100% now, because it's got up to law plus 49. So if someone had a hat of corruption, they'd be getting 25 mana points every turn now, which would just be crazy, because like everybody else is getting a few mana points here and there, but someone with a hat of corruption would just be raking it in, casting their mega spell every 3rd turn just about. Let's go for... Let's get the magic bow out. Now I'll send the swarm of rats in. Very low attack, but there's so many of them. And they're so expendable. That one can't do anything, so we'll just have it peck away at tangle vines. The elf can try and take out the centaur. There we go. Every time something dies, she gets 3 mana points, which is good because, you know, those rats, every time they die, they give mana point bonuses. Can't say fairer than that, really. Here we go. Tara's been plobbed again. This is getting frustrating. So the dwarf is doing his best. The Pegasus is stuck on the invoker. Tara is stuck inside the blob. Now we could burn a few of these and see if we can try and get something that helps. So let's burn a lion. We've got a spider, that's not going to help. We've got another magic sword. Well, we've already got one, so that doesn't help us very much. Magic bolts. You can't magic bolt the thing you're sitting on, can you? No. You need a magical attack, which we don't have. We can try a red dragon at 60%. We could try a lion at 90%. We could try the elephant at 70. They're good against blobs. Let's try that. 70. So if Tara manages to survive one more turn... Oh, the elephant and the dwarf have immediately got blobbed. Well, that's just perverse game of chaos for you. Perhaps perhaps you should have cast the elephant up here somewhere where it was a bit more safe. So, Invoker amusing himself playing with Pegasus. What has he got to cast? So he still likes the Staff of Speed. So we've got a very nice tempting... We've got 100% dwarf, we've got a very nice tempting manticore down here. I think we go for that. 70%. And then we want to get on the manticore. And we're going to send the eagle back. Oh, we can attack that elf. Let's try and attack the other elf while we've got a chance. Did not work. So much for the elephant. Now, Lena is a bit stuck. We do have a 100% chance dragon now, so I think we're going to face off these rats with the classic battle of dragon versus rats, which usually in Chaos the rats win. So, sup guys? See how they like that. Okay, here we go. Oh, the rat's going to run round. I didn't realise you could get around there. And go after the unicorn. 8% chance. Send more rats in. You can never have too many rats. Elfie elf. Ooh, how do you get to there? Oh, we can... How is that even possible that you can shoot over the dragon? Oh, on a higher elevation. I guess that's how you can do it. I'd have thought that would have been line of sight blocked, but there you go. It didn't work anyway. Does Arenji have a sword already? She does not. So we could go for the sword, or we could try and get our own dragon in. Or a hellhound to try and freeze the dragon. Or we can just go for easy lions. Or we could ride up and try and bolt the dragon while it's surrounded by rats. Can't tell if that's actually got line of sight. This would be a bit of a risk. A bit of a risk. We can hit it. 48%. Did not work. She does, however, have a bow. 15%. That didn't work either. And now it's Tara's turn, who is well stucked. Well, let's see if she can... Oh no, the elephant's gone. I was going to free the elephant, but no, the elephant's dead. Oh dear, what do we do? Let's try a dragon who can... Well, if Tara can actually manage to survive, the dragon might actually burn her out of the blob. Although stuck in that corner. It's very difficult for her to get out. Now, invoke it. We'll send the elf round here. Try and get a shot on the wizard. Now, we do have that dragon to worry about slightly. We can magic bolt it, subvert it. That would be annoying. Let's fly next to it. Try and say, my dragon. No? Okay, kill it then. No? How about killing it with a sword? No? Oh. Fair enough. Okay. This blob is spreading far too close to Lena now for her own comfort. Could do with something strong to defend against that. That would be the elephant. Let's do that. Go. Let's try and clear up this rat infestation. And the rider attacks another rat. No. Okay, no one's died yet. Rats are still doing their thing. Try and kill the dragon. 8%! No. What's RNG got? A magic sword. We could go for that and then run away. We could go for a 50% emerald dragon or lions. Let's go for these lions. We're close to the. Do we want the mega spell, mega bolt? Might come in handy later. Ooh, we could go for a giant. That's quite strong in this situation. One of the rare situations it's quite strong. Okay, now we need to, I think, retreat. See if we can kill something. Nope. Oh. Another one bites the dust. So we're on turn 8, moving along slowly. We've got 4 players, right. Tara's turn. She does have the dragon. Well, actually, killing Invoker might be the best way to free her from those blobs. Free herself from those blobs. So if we go after Invoker here, that did not help. What can Tara summon? A centaur? An elf? Magic bolt. Magic bolt. Wow. So, Invoker. We do have a magic bolt on Tara. Okay, Tara's down. That's the first death. Bye bye, dragon. Oh dear, the elephant's been blobbed. That blob's really doing good work. So, Invoker quite happily with 94 mana points now, so going to have a good time next turn. Down goes the elephant. Oops, actually meant to attack that with the unicorn. I do want to do that with that giant there. Let's do it. We'll deal with the dragon somehow. Oh, missed on a 80% chance. Subversion. 71 on the giant. Oh no, it failed. Honestly, if you think you're going to play this game on skill, you've got another thing coming. Because the random chance is just crazy. Okay, rat 8% on the dragon. No. Well, at least that's reasonable. Okay, in comes the giant. Up the hill. Nope. The elf can't really hit anything apart from blobs. 1 mana point for the death. I wonder why. Perhaps because it's just a blob and it's not considered worthwhile to get 3. We have another Tanglevine. I don't see the point of the Tanglevine right now. It's not going to help us. So we'll burn it. We do have a Mega Spell. I think it might be a chance to get... That's going to give us an attack on both the enemy. If we go to here, I think we should be able to hit both of them with the Mega Bolt. Mega Bolt. Oh, no, we can only hit the dragon. Let's not do that then. Instead, let's create a lion. Or, let's not create a lion, let's attack the Tanglevine. That was a really terrible turn. Invoker. Now, what can Invoker do? We have a Blessing of Unicorns. Oh, that's always fun. This is quite a good Mega Spell actually. Those unicorns are quite tough. And we're just happy with our blob spreading over there, so we're not going to do anything. Lena really got big problems now. Oh, we've got a Justice attack. I think that's the thing to do. On the giant, on the elf, and on the unicorn. All of them failed, but Lena got 10 mana points for hope because all the attacks failed. Right, we shall attack the elf with the unicorn. Lena herself can attack the giant. The dragon rather, is still stuck with this. See, the usefulness of these rats is they just completely lock you down so you can't go anywhere. Lena playing King of the Hill. Arenji still attacking with the giant. Okay, that looks good. Arenji could get a 29% attack on the wizard and does have a Mega Bolt, so where's the best place to... I think we just charge in now. Let's go for the kill. Rider, 18%. Mega Bolt. Oh, we can only hit one thing. Do we have a... Unfortunately, you can't get the angle on the dragon, but that's a good enough target. Okay, let's go for 2 Tanglevines as well. One Tanglevine. How amazing. Elf not doing much apart from attacking blobs. The rat keeps pecking away at this dragon. It's going to get this dragon eventually, yes. I swear. That's it. Now, I guess Invoker's going to have to face up to whichever one of these wizards wins, and they're going to have a lot of mana from winning, so probably best to get in relatively close. More rats, more rat pack. Oh look, we've got enough mana for yet another Mega Spell, so let's do that. Can only cast them up there. Is that worth it? No, why not? More unicorns! We can never have too many unicorns. Now Lena has a Justice. I think that's the best direct damage she can do right now. So we're going to go for the giant, the unicorn and the rat. And we got the rat and the giant. Well, that helps a whole lot. The dragon is now free to sweep in and take out that unicorn. And Lena with the coup de grace, 27%. She's engaged, so no choice. No. Failed at the last. Okay, RNG. The elf can go on the dragon, or can go on all these, but I think the dragon is probably... Well, let's see if we can kill Lena first. Magic sword. It's only going to give us a little bonus, but it might be important. Okay, Arenji now has an attack of 11 rather than, I think, 10 that she had before, because I think she had the... I can't remember which clothing she had, but anyway, attack of 11 now, so 49% chance, 50-50 on Lena. Bye bye dragon, and bye bye tangle vines. Now, Invoker looks kind of strong. What are we going to hit? Go for Unicorn. Still, both players are getting mana points for each death. The elf needs to retreat. Now, Invoker is just going to storm in with lots and lots of unicorns. And we still have loads of spells left, and mostly easy to cast. We've got this vampire sitting around here on plus 30, which you could make use of. Let's try that. Vampire, 65. Oh. Well, Invoker can hang around. Invoker's actually got less victory points than RNG has, so Invoker does have to attack. Can't just hang back. This elf is just going to peck at him as many unicorns as he can. Oh, we have a Pegasus. That's so useful right now. And RNG is going to get on the Pegasus for defense. That's going to make RNG so much harder to catch. The unicorns keep coming. This vampire is going to be the hard thing to take out because it's so manoeuvrable. Now we can attack that. No, I think we want to be safer on our little manticore. I don't need to take that risk yet. Justice. Oh, it's got to be the justice. Okay, 1, 2, go. Didn't work. Okay, RNG. Turn 13, so you just have to hold out quite a lot. Try and get this unicorn. This elf. MVP. Let's, well, we can run away, but then we're going into the blob. Let's just keep putting pressure on here. Ooh, the Pegasus did the killing. Oh, we've still got RNG can do an attack with the bow. Now we really need one of these undead to try and take out this vampire. Oh, we can activate the mega spell. We need a mega bolt to try and take out the vampire, definitely. Well, oh, we can get another mega spell. How many can we get? We've got 82 mana points. Well, let's try and get the Hellhound. No. Invoker running out of unicorns, but finally one of the unicorns gets up to where the elf is hiding. Oh, did so well. And now the vampire, 43% on RNG. No, did not. Well, I think time for the manticore to try and get closer. What can we cast here to really cause grief? Ooh, a dwarf. Up on the hill. Let's see if it can try and take out RNG's equipment. Now, don't rate RNG's chances here. She has a mega bolt. How many can she hit with a mega bolt from there? 1, oh, 3. 1, 2, 3. Value. Not value when none of them die. mind. So we've got 73% chance to kill the vampire with Arenji herself. Let's do it. Still not out of it. And she is winning. The blobs are starting to die out. Right, dwarf now useless. Unicorns running around trying to chase RNG, who is able to escape. Does Invoker have a bow right now? No bow, so I think that bow is going to be essential. Let's get the bow. Okay, now we can attack. So 20% from somewhere, 20% from there. Okay, let's do that. We've got to try and take down that Pegasus. And with Invoker, 33. No. 15, turn 15. I think we can go for a dragon, but I think first we need another Mega Bolt. And this has a range of 4. 1, 2, 3. Go. That was not the one she wanted to kill. So the Pegasus can fly 4 and the Manticore can also fly 4, so I think we just fly over here, kill a blob, or not. Very frustrating for Invoker right now because RNG can just keep flying out of range. Till we've got the Pegasus down, so closing in for the kill. We're almost with, we can get more unicorns, which would be so good, but we can't get them yet. Let's go for the rat pack. 2, 3. Pressure coming on. Dragon 50% or vampire 50%? Nope. Let's try and take down that Manticore. And then we can move there. Okay, RNG's been slowed down. The rats are closing in. Could the rat get the kill? Seals the game. 18%. Nope. Cast a spell. Eagle. Oh no. Unicorns. RNG slightly surrounded now. Well, she can definitely get a lion out, or activate a mega spell. That's basically all her mana. So this is one final mega bolt. She does have. She can hit Invoker. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 71%. Here we go. Is she going to win? Yes! RNG is victorious. Well, it's pretty good. I mean, it seemed quite well balanced actually, that one, because no one had that silly hat of corruption, but it does kind of rely on which hats you get and which gear you get at the moment as to whether you're going to have a good time. But I enjoyed that game, and I think the game itself is developing, you know, in a really nice way. So looking forward to what version 0.2 brings.